What's going on, folks? We're back here at Press Record Studios in Westbury, Long Island for a brand new review and unboxing. We got the brand new Wings of Redemption Spawn. This is part of McFarlane's new line of statues based on the Spawn universe. It's a 1/8 scale statue based on the iconic cover from Spawn number 77. If you're a 90s kid, you know Spawn in the 90s was peak, probably some of the best storytelling at its time. And the thing about it is that this particular version of Spawn is one that has appeared in a few different incarnations. We've had it as an action figure, we've had it as a large size action figure, and now it's one of the first figures in the new McFarlane Toys digital line, which is essentially a digital collectible tied to whatever piece you purchase. So this particular Spawn figure is based on the cover of Spawn number 77. If you are a longtime Spawn fan, you know that Spawn in the 90s had some of the best storytelling before it got really weird and crazy and deviated into Sam and Twitch and some of the other characters. This particular version of Spawn and this particular cover is a favorite of mine. I've owned it in a few different incarnations, and this particular one is one of the latest entries into McFarlane's digital collectible line. Now, you're probably asking yourself, it's a statue, what's digital about it? This code is what makes it digital. McFarlane, once again, just trying to be a little different and unique versus other companies, is diving into digital collectibles. So you scan this and you will redeem a digital collectible. Usually it is a collectible that matches the toy or statue that you're getting from McFarlane Toys, but sometimes it's a limited collectible digital piece that he puts out. Think of it as an easier to digest NFT. This packaging, typical McFarlane statue packaging, windowed, nice piece of art on the side recreating the iconic cover. Also on the back. One of the things that bothers me with pieces like this is that if you're trying to get a new comic fan or a new person who is unfamiliar with Spawn, you want to give a little bit of context. What cover it's from, what issue it's from, why does he have wings? A little bio or something would have been great. That's one of the things that is really good with, I'll use Diamond as an example. They'll give you a little bit of background, whether it's the sculptor or background on the character or the license or where the piece is from. McFarlane, not so much. If you've seen his action figures, you know that when you turn that box around, you get a whole lot of nothing. But other than that, packaging is pretty run-of-the-mill, all plastic, easily recyclable. But let's get into the nitty-gritty of this review and check out the statue. All right, so after fighting with the packaging that felt like an eternity, big shout out to Matt from Nerd News today for the assist, because these hamburger fists could not undo the ties that were all over the wings of this very, very impressive piece. One of the things that McFarlane never skimps out on, and I really want to commend him, is usually the usage of textures when it comes to Spawn figures. If you are familiar with a lot of the characters in Spawn's universe, especially like some of the villains like the Violator or Malbolgia, when you see those toys and you mess with them, you'll notice that there are a lot of ridges, bumps, a lot of imperfections to really reinforce their demonic appearance. And it's one of the things that I feel McFarlane does very well, especially with the Spawn characters. And to some extent, a lot of the DC figures he's worked on is really showcase textures and play with them really well to give you an incredible amount of detail. Now, this particular figure is in super detail from start to finish. I'm gonna just start from the sides of the figure. As you can see here, you can feel pretty much the individual feathers on the wings, which I thought was a very, very nice touch. A lot of times it's just not as detailed. I remember if it was the first incarnation of this character that was done in action figure form, the wings weren't, they were comparable if you are familiar with action figures from the Tekken line, like the Devil Kazuya figure. The wings looked detailed from afar, but up close, they looked very cheap. That's not the case with this statue. The incredible detail that was shown, I mean, it's Spawn. It's McFarlane's baby. He's definitely going to take his time making it look as best as possible. But the wings are definitely the star of the show here. I'm truly blown away by the amount of detailing. Now, when you turn the statue around and you look at it closer, even the detailing that's here, again, lots of ridges, a lot of imperfections you can feel. So while the wings of this statue are truly the centerpiece because of the incredible amount of detail and texture that McFarlane put into them, the fact is that the rest of the statue has great detail as well, from the spikes on the boots to the spikes on the gauntlets and even the spikes back here. Incredibly detailed. They have micro cracks and weathering, and they definitely look like they've seen some stuff. And that's one of the things when it comes to Spawn's character, the details matter. And while this isn't the usual statue that you would expect from Spawn with chains and all of this stuff, there's still good textural details here that align with Spawn's regular costume. You have the skull buckle here, and like I said, the boots and the gauntlet are things that you would see on Spawn's regular costume that are still a part of this particular incarnation of the character. The other thing that I like, and even though it's not something that is noteworthy for most people, is the attention that was done to Spawn's eyes. If you're a reader of Spawn comic books, a lot of emphasis is put on Spawn's eyes because most of the time when he uses his powers, they glow super green. And if you read the book in the 90s, it would usually, whenever his powers would show, it would have the hourglass on the top, counting down for when his powers would be spent and he would die. And that's one of the things that McFarlane did a really good job here with. I feel that whatever green he used here really makes it look like if the eyes are actually glowing. They are not. This statue is a plain old 12-inch high piece of plastic. There's no electronics in it whatsoever, but the green eyes that were applied for this particular statue, the green paint, I should say, really emphasizes what Spawn's trademark is, those big glowing green eyes. Now, while I did talk about the texture on the boots and the gauntlet, the Spawn's torso and his legs, what's I guess his costume or his skin in this case, also super textured, lots of ripples here. They really did a great job with that. Even here on his head, there's textural separation between his head and the white part of his mask, which I thought was a really nice detail because you could have easily just done a flat paint application and it probably would have looked just as good, but it's actually raised. There's real separation between the texture on the head and the mask texture, which I thought was a really, really nice touch. The only other thing that I would have liked to have seen, which again, for a $50 statue, it's hard to ask for, maybe just an adjustment to the arm a little bit just to make it more in line, even though it does mimic the card. I know that a lot of times when they've drawn this particular version of Spawn, his hand is like this, usually holding usually necroplasm of some sort, or it's usually some sort of a glow on his hand. I would have liked that, but again, at a $50 price point, it's a hard ask. But still, nonetheless, if you're looking for a recreation of the iconic cover itself, I think this definitely hits a home run and was just a great piece by McFarlane Toys. Overall, I think McFarlane killed it with this statue, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows though. One of my biggest problems is this base. Because you would think that this base would say Spawn or have the Spawn logo, something really cool. No, we want to let you know that it's a McFarlane Toys digital, which to most people, they're not gonna care. And I think that that's one of the things that really detracts from this figure. And you're probably saying to yourself, oh, Rich, it's a base, who cares? But when you're displaying statues, if you've seen reviews from a lot of fellow collectors out there that do statue reviews, you know that the base sometimes just adds a really, really good dimension to the presentation of a statue. And the fact that they kind of skimped out on the base it bugs me. And it bugs me because they didn't even use like Spawn branding. Sure, you know, you got the Spawn insignia there, but you could have done something really cool with this. Now, the MSRP on this statue is $50. You can find it at Big Bad Toy Store, Amazon, and you can order it directly from McFarlane. And for a $50 statue, it checks off all the boxes. The quality is impeccable. But this base, they could have done so much better. They could have spent a little bit more time and a little bit more effort to give us a cool base. You know, you give us this card, which again has the digital branding on the back, gives us a little bio of Spawn. But as I said when I was talking about the packaging, no idea where this character appeared, what year, nothing. They just presume, oh, it's Spawn, and that's enough. And I think that when you're taking a character like Spawn, much like Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, major characters like that, you always want to give a bio, first appearance, things like that, because not everybody that's buying this stuff is familiar with the character. Some people may just buy it because it looks really cool. I bought it because it was one of my favorite covers, and I've owned multiple incarnations of this piece. McFarlane Toys digital line definitely impresses. I think it's one of those pieces that McFarlane is taking his time on and really delivering some great stuff. If you've seen recent announcements, you know that he's doing Marvel pieces similar. He's doing Spider-Man and Batman. He's doing Spider-Man and Wolverine and Deadpool, characters we all know, but again, in this style, this small, affordable, entry-level statue piece. Now, should you buy this? Is it something I recommend? I can absolutely say yes. Great piece, minus the base. You could probably display it without the base. Don't recommend it, but other than that, I truly love what McFarlane did with this. Low barrier of entry, quality construction, amazing detail, and it's everything that I've come to expect when it comes to a character like Spawn, which, as I've said before, Spawn is McFarlane's baby. He's going to take his time and make him look as best as possible. As I said earlier, you can find this at most major retailers. This one was picked up not at Big Bad Toy Store or Amazon, but at GameStop, and for a lot less than the MSRP. So check out your local GameStop, Amazon, and of course Big Bad Toy Store. Will include links for that in the notes for this video. As always, full disclosure, if you use one of those links, we get a small commission that will not add any additional cost to your purchase. So there you have it, folks, the Wings of Redemption Spawn from McFarlane Toys Digital. What do you guys think? Is this a figure that what do you guys think? Is this a statue that you'd add to your collection as a Spawn fan? Or if it's a pass, let us know in the comments. We look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.